Hello everyone, I'm Jonas.
And I'm Lewis.
And welcome to JL Pokémon, and welcome back to another episode of Cards of the Week.
That is
right.
So we have an awesome video planned for you guys, and we're sticking to the theme of just like picking cards that relate well to other ones. Like this week we have some pretty similar cards.
We'll catch you guys when we do it.
So before we get into our super
make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at JL_PKM, and that is right. So
make sure to drop us a follow down there in Instagram and Twitter. So you get
also make sure to check out last week's cards of the week, next week's opening, which is going to be insane.
And congratulations to Shining Platinum. We're just congratulating him again, all the way from Europe. So we have an international subscriber. So that is super duper awesome. So
if you're watching the Shining Platinum,
if you're watching the Shining Platinum,
hello.
I hit the table. You're cool. You're super cool.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
for
great.
subscribing. And so that's basically it. How about we get right into these cards? Catch you guys in a second
with the coin flip and one of the cards.
Alright guys, how about we get right into the coin flip? Jonas says I'm tails.
Heads and this guy's tails.
Yep, so
hopefully it's heads this time. It's heads! My telepathy work.
It is heads, which means Jonas will be talking about Gallade. And I'm guessing you can probably guess what Pokemon I'm picking just by Jonas's Pokemon. So how about you get right into this, starting with this one.
So the reason why I chose Gallade is because we did Gardevoir and Gallade. So yeah, let's get straight into the first one, which is from
Plasma Storm.
Which,
it isn't actually the first ever Gallade, so it's just we're going off a Limitless TCG.
Generation 3, right?
Yeah, Generation 4.
It had 140 HP, which was pretty good, but most of them looks like they had
150, 140.
Yeah, 160.
One of them has 170.
It is a psychic type. Now there are some fighting types in here, and the first attack is Powerful Storm for 2 colorless. Just 20 times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon.
That's pretty good.
That is insane.
That is really good.
That is really good, because you could have 58 energies attached to Gallade. The next attack is Swift Lunge for a psychic and 2 colorless. 80 damage. Your opponent switches the defending Pokemon with one of his or her bench Pokemon.
Super cool. So how about you get right into the next one?
The next one is from
Legendary Treasures.
Legendary Treasures. Has 140 HP. This time, it's a fighting type.
Except he has this super cool sword arm, so he actually goes like.
So the first attack is Nerve Shot.
This one's pretty cool.
Got some nerve. For a fighting energy, flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool. 30 damage.
30 damage, not bad.
Now the next one is Pandemonium Blade. So for
fighting and 2 colorless, 60 plus. Does 20 more damage for each of your avenged Pokemon that has any damage counters on it.
That's actually really good.
That's good with the new Spirit Tomb. Had a weakness to Psychic. So the next one is Gallade EX, 170
from
HP
Roaring Skies.
From Roaring Skies, which had an attack called Swift Lunge for a psychic and a colorless for 30 damage. You may have your opponent switch his or her bench Pokemon with their active. Now that is good if it's a Bosso order for your next turn, pretty much, or Lysandre. Yep. And its next attack for 3 psychic energies, piercing prizes.
That's
50
cool.
plus. This attack does 20 damage for each of your remaining prize cards remaining.
Wow.
You can do a maximum of 50 times.
170.
Okay. Yeah, good enough. So that is enough to knock out yourself.
The next one you're going to be talking about is Mega
Gallade EX.
From Roaring Skies.
Yep. Had 220 HP.
Pretty nice.
Some Japanese writing, which I have no idea what that
says. Unwavering Blade. No, it says Unwavering Blade.
I'm talking about.
No, it says Unwavering.
Does that actually?
Yes, it does. And in the Japanese versions of the card, guess what that says?
Unwavering Blade. That's pretty funny. So for 2 psychic and a colorless, 110 HP. This attack does 30 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon that have any damage counters on it. That is great.
That spreads a lot of damage.
Yep. So the next one is.
This one is definitely one of my favorites. Breakthrough.
Breakthrough.
This is definitely one of my favorites.
So it had 150 HP, a fighting.
Yeah.
So
it had an ability.
Promotion.
Premonition.
Before you attack, you may attack. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them back on the top of your deck in any order.
So basically, Gallade was played a lot in Zoroark Gardevoir decks, which it was used as a tech against Zoroark itself, actually. So basically, what you did is you looked at the top 5 cards of your deck, put them in any order, and then you could draw those cards with Zoroark. So that's really awesome. And since you're already running double colorless energy in Zoroark decks, Sensitive Blade is being paid for 1 energy, and you're hitting weakness on Zoroark. And who doesn't play a supporter card in their turn?
Yeah,
so you're always doing 130 damage, and if you're against Zoroark, that's 260 damage for just 1 energy, which is absolutely double colorless, so it's 1 energy. And so that's really insane. It had a weakness to Psychic, wasn't a big deal, and retreat cost of 2.
Yep. Now the next one is from Cosmic Eclipse. It was a Psychic type, so its ability is double type. As long as Pokemon is play is a Psychic and a Fighting type.
It's pretty good.
They've reintroduced dual types.
Yeah, except they didn't have it as a dual type. They just made an ability.
Yeah. So its attack called Power Cyclone, for 2 colorless energy, 120 damage, movement energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. That's pretty good if you need an energy on this Gallade to a Pokemon on your bench. That is pretty good.
Now, the next and final Gallade is from the most recent set, which is Chilling Reign. And this is super cool. It had 170 HP, was a fighting type, and its first attack for a psychic energy actually was Feint. This attack isn't affected by resistance. It did 60 whopping damage, so that's really awesome for 1 energy. And it also had an attack called Dynablade for a DCE, or Twin Energy in this format, and did 60 times. This attack does 60 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play.
That is insane.
That is
actually a maximum up to 300 and something damage.
You're doing 360 damage.
Because 60 times 6 is
360.
Yeah, okay. So I'm knocking out every single VMAX, unless they come out with a Wailord VMAX, then.
Yep. So it had a weakness to Psychic and 2 retreat costs. So that was super awesome and super cool.
So that's pretty much it about Gallade. So let's get straight into Lewis's hack with Gardevoir.
Alright guys, let's get into my Pokemon, which is Gardevoir. Super awesome card, super influential, and its first ever card was from Ruby and Sapphire, way back. And EX Ruby and Sapphire, sorry. So it had a super awesome Pokepower called Psy Shadow that said, once you return, before you attack, you may search your deck for a Psychic Energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon, shove your deck afterwards. So that is very similar to the one and only Houndoom from Battle Styles with that awesome single strike energy acceleration, but this was with Psychic, so that's super awesome. It had an attack for 1 Psychic Energy. Energy Burst does 10 damage times the total amount of energy attached to Gardevoir and the defending Pokemon. So you're doing heaps of damage for just 1 energy, so that's really super duper awesome. So moving on to the next one, which is Gardevoir EX from EX Sandstorm.
EX.
Yep. It had 150 HP, and it had a attack called Feedback for a Psychic and a Colorless. Count the number of cards in your opponent's hand, put that many damage counters on the defending Pokemon. The next attack is Psystorm for Psychic and 3 Colorless that does 10 damage times the amount of energy attached to all Pokemon in play. So that is insane. You basically paired Gardevoir EX up with regular Gardevoir from EX Ruby and Sapphire. So that is absolutely insane and super awesome. And it's overall, Gardevoir EX and Gardevoir are just the perfect combo back in the EX era. So that is super awesome, super cool. So the next one I want to talk about, we're just going to skip a ton, and we're just going to go straight to Gardevoir Level X from Secret Wonders. And this one actually won the World Championship, so this is a super awesome card. It had a Pokepower called Teleportation. Once you return, choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon or one of your bench Pokemon. Choose one of your active Pokemon or one of your bench Pokemon and switch Gardevoir with that Pokemon. So it's basically a free switch with a Pokepower, so that's really awesome, super cool. And it also had an attack called Bring Down for 2 Psychic. Choose one Pokemon, yours or your opponent's, with the fewest remaining HP, excluding Gardevoir, and that Pokemon is now knocked out. So that is super duper awesome. And now that I'm talking about Gardevoir level X, might as well talk about the regular Gardevoir, which was also extremely good. It had a Pokeball called Telepass. Once your turn, you may search your opponent's discard pile for a supporter card and use it as this effect. So that is super insane. So it basically punishes your opponent for using strong supporters because you're just using them for free with Gardevoir. So that's super awesome. It also had an attack called Psychic Lock for a Psychic and 2 colorless, 60 damage during your opponent's next turn. Your opponent can't use any Pokepowers on his or her Pokemon. Weakens to Psychic, and yeah, no resistance to retreat cost. So that's amazing. So how about we get into the more modern Gardevoirs now? Alright guys, the next Gardevoir is the Gardevoir from Next Destinies. This is an insane Gardevoir, very similar to Venusaur from Shining Legends. It had 110 HP, and it had an ability called Psychic Mirage, which said each basic psychic energy attached to your psychic Pokemon provides 2 psychic energy. You can't apply more than 1 Psychic Mirage ability at a time. So that basically turns your psychic energy into 2 psychic energy, which is insane. I've seen this and expanded with the one and only Shadow Rider Calyrex, and it explodes with damage. It just rips through everything, and it's super amazing and overpowered, and not overpowered, but you know what I mean. It's just really good. Weakness is Psychic, and yeah, it's a super awesome card. So the next one I want to talk about is actually, I had this card at one point, is the Gardevoir EX from Primal Clash. It had 170 HP, a fairy type actually this time. It had an attack called Life Leap for 20 damage. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you got like Muscle Band or something, you're healing 40 and all that cool stuff. So the next one is called Shining Wind.
We have this one.
We used to. For 3 fairy, 100 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon has no weakness. So that's really good. And then the main Pokemon, the main card that this evolved into was obviously Mega Gardevoir EX, which also came out in Primal Clash, and it had an amazing attack called Brilliant Arrow.
Let me guess what this says. Brilliant Arrow.
Yeah. And Brilliant Arrow for a fairy and 2 colorless. You're doing 30 damage. This attack does 30 damage times the amount of psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So that's just really awesome and super duper cool. So moving on to the next one, which is going to be Gardevoir EX. It had an attack called, it had 170 HP, it's fairy type. It had an attack called Link Blast for a fairy and a colorless. 30 plus, if this Pokemon has, and your opponent's active Pokemon have the same amount of energy attached to it, this attack does 70 more damage, so 100 damage for 2 energy. And Luminous Blade, 120 discard energy from this Pokemon, 2 fairy and a colorless. Now, Despair Ray on Mega Gardevoir EX.
Let me guess. This says Despair Ray.
Yeah. And this one was actually a dual type Pokemon, so it was Psychic and Fairy type. And Despair Ray for a fairy and a colorless did 110 damage. Discard as many of your bench Pokemon as you like. This attack does 10 more damage for each card Pokemon you discarded in this way. So you can do a maximum of 160 damage for 2 energy, and that is really awesome. Now, the next Gardevoir I want to talk about, I was actually talking about this before with Jonas, and that is Gardevoir GX from Burning Shadows. It had an amazing ability called Secret Storm that said once your turn you may attach a fairy energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. I'm so used to the psychic types being fairy types now, so.
Oh, looks like they're
230 HP, and it had a super awesome attack called Infinite Force. 30 damage. This attack does 30 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. Very similar to the Gardevoir from EX Ruby and Sapphire. And it had an amazing GX attack called Twilight GX. Shuffle 10 cards from your discard pile back into your deck. And this card, and along with Gardevoir level X, won the World Championships, so that is super awesome and super cool. Gardevoir and Sylveon GX is next, and this saw a lot of play in the 2019 World Championships. Didn't win though, but had a super awesome attack called Fairy Song, which was for 1 colorless. Search your deck for 2 psychic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you like.
You mean fairy?
That's what I said.
You said psychic.
Oh my gosh. And it also had a really cool sounding attack for 2 psychic and a colorless.
You just said psychic again.
For 2 fairy and a colorless called Kaleido Storm. 150 damage. Move any number of energy from your Pokemon to other Pokemon in any way you like. And the next attack for 3 fairy, and did 200 damage. This attack has, if this Pokemon has at least 3 extra fairy energy attached to it, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck. So that is really super cool and super awesome.
You just said
Gardevoir V had 210 HP, Magical Shot for 30, Swelling Pulse for 2 Psychic and a Colorless, 120 plus 80 if you healed this turn. So that's pretty good. And Gardevoir VMAX is super awesome, 320 HP, and it had 2 Psychic and a Colorless, Max Cure, 180 damage, heal 50, so that's really awesome. And I might as well talk about the last one, which is Gardevoir from Chilling Reign. Had an ability called Shining Arcana, and once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and attach any number of basic energy cards you find there to your Pokemon in any way you like. So that's super awesome, super cool. Had an attack called Brainwave for 3 colorless. 60 damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each psychic energy attached to this Pokemon. So that is it for Gardevoir. Overall, Gardevoir and Gallade have been seen a lot, and they've been played a lot, and they're super awesome Pokemon, and I'm getting very tired. So let's finish up this video, and I'll catch you guys in the outro. Catch you guys in a second.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We 100% enjoy making it, so we hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at JL_PKMN. This video is getting long, so yeah. We will catch you guys in the next one.
Which is the super awesome. Might as well show it on camera.
Come on.
The 100 subscriber Basil mystery pack. So, super excited about this. And we'll get into these and talking about building decks and stuff, and we'll also open the 100 subscriber mystery pack from Basil. So, and also thank you very much, Basil, for this. We will open this tomorrow, which is because we're pre-recording these because we have to get these done. So we'll open this tomorrow, and tomorrow would be Tuesday, and so yeah, we are super excited to open this, and yeah, we will catch you guys
in the next video. See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.